All right, what's going on? And welcome back to another video. So I know it's been quite a minute since I posted a video, probably close to a better part of well over a month now. I told you I wanted to just kind of relax a little bit, kind of regroup the channel. Views have been kind of down, so I didn't really see the need of just putting in filler videos if you guys weren't going to watch anyways. That's besides the point. Welcome back to another video, guys. How you doing? It's been a minute. So as you can tell from today's title, we are heading over to my buddy's shop to prep the car for Gridlife, which is actually going to be happening really soon here. Honestly, by the time you guys have probably seen this video, depending on how fast I edit it, is probably the week I am traveling to Gridlife. It's already like the first or second week of October right now. I don't know when I'm going to edit this video, but if you guys are unaware, Gridlife is closer towards the end of this month. It's the third week of this month, and I am heading out to California. Supposed to be with me, Viet and Mark, or Viet, Mark and I, however you want to be, punctually correct. But as you can tell from the stuff sliding in the back, we are installing a lot of stuff today. We are installing my exhaust. We are installing my my new rotors, front and rear. I got a two-piece rear, so they are much lighter in the rear. New brake pads. I am installing extended lug studs because I just don't like how little the lug nuts kind of bolt on to the factory lug studs. I think the minimum people saying you should have is 6.5. That's bare minimum. Any less than that, you really should be using the studs. I mean, for driving around normally, it's probably okay, since how that's what I've been doing for the better part of this year. But for track purposes, I didn't feel comfortable with that, so I'm installing ARP Extended Studs. What else? I got a whole mess of stuff back here that I'm really installing. I'm gonna heat wrap the exhaust near the rear diff sensor, or the clutch pack sensor, to see if that'll kind of help negate some of the heat blasting onto the sensor and tripping that warning prematurely. Just stuff like that, really, your normal track day prep stuff. Oil change, brake fluid change. I'm going to try to do my transfer case too. I don't know if that's really required at this point in time, but we'll see how much time I have left at the end of the day. So this isn't going to be your normal how to install video that I tend to do. This is going to be more of a vlog style video where I'm just doing it because there's a lot to be done in such short amount of time. Realistically, I've had all these parts for quite a while. I should have installed them one by one. Oops, there we go. But I didn't. Laziness, and now it's all in one video. So instead of a how to, plus there's lots of videos on how to. I've already did a brake video. There are plenty of exhaust videos out there. There aren't many lug studs install videos, so I'll try to go a little bit more in depth when I get to that portion of the video. But anyways, this intro has gone on way too long. I've had to catch you guys up on, well, probably close to 2 months now worth of stuff that I've been kind of piling up. But yeah, anyways, guys, let's head over to JTP and get this day started. All right, guys, so we're here at JTP Automotive. I have everything unloaded. So obviously we have the front and rear rotors, we have the exhaust, we have the oil, we have the brake fluid, we have the battery, we have the studs, we have the heat shield. I have the titanium wrap right here being pre-soaked. So they do recommend that you pre-soak these wraps, mainly so that way when it's wet, you can really tighten it out when you wrap it around the exhaust. And then that way when it dries on even tighter. But yeah, this really shouldn't take too long, a few hours at most. I think the hardest part is probably going to be these studs right here. But overall, not too bad. So let's just go ahead, get the car in the air, and get this day started. Thank God today is not in the 90s as of yet. It's kind of low 80s, high 70s right now. Feels really good. But yeah, so hopefully no sweating today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is I think we're going to go ahead and start with the extended lug studs. We're going to go ahead and do the fronts. So these are the ones they sent me. Not sure if they are the correct ones, but these are the ones they sent me. They are for a Lexus or Toyota, whatever it is. So the part number is 1007715. I'll go ahead and leave a link down below on where you can order your own set. What some people do is instead of buying all 4, they just buy 2 sets so they can do the rear, and then they move the rear studs to the front because the rear studs are actually longer from factory and it should give you enough. So if you just kind of want to do like a little quick option, you can do that, so that way your rear gets enough thread length and your front gets enough thread length without going full on ARP all 4 corners. But I just said screw it, I went all 4 corners. So yeah, I'll let Johnny do his thing. Okay, so these were extremely easy to take out, probably because the car has less than 5,000 miles. All he did was just kind of like took a little hammer, not a little one, but just hammered it out. But yeah, as you can see, this is the difference between the factory and the ARP. Huge difference. So normally it looks like you would have to remove the hub to go ahead and install the new ones, but he's just kind of like playing around with the heat shield a little bit. He's gonna bend it and then bend it back. So let's see if there's enough room. Yep, there you go. So once he's done installing all these, he's just gonna bend the heat shield back over. So yeah, real simple on the front. But if you don't want to bend it, you do have to remove the hub, which is, I believe, 3 bolts, correct?
Correct, and an axle nut.
And the axle nut. So but this is probably our quickest, best option. Okay, so we got these studs in. Really simple process, took maybe 5-10 minutes. So I do have a brand new rotor. It is from Gyro Disc. 2-piece rotor, just like factory, but these are supposedly just like 1 pound lighter than factory. I don't know, anything's anything. So he's just go ahead and double checking to make sure all the parts or the bolts are tight. So. So with like any new rotor, you're going to want to go ahead and spray it down with some brake cleaner and get all the chemicals off that they put on there to keep it from rusting in the box.
These are nice. Anthony, these are directional. Is this the
yes, this
side?
one is the right side. There's
okay,
that tag, wherever I put it. This is the right side.
Yeah, it says R on it. It says R.
But yeah, that tag I had wherever it went.
It's right here. Right here. It says R.
Yeah. R. So it's right there. So just make sure you have it on the right side. There was an orange tag on there. The orange tag also was labeled as right. So
hold on.
There you go. So along with the new rotors, I also went ahead and got some new pads. So I went with the EBC ones this time around, which is I think just 1 step below their full out race pads. So we'll see how these do on the track. Hopefully they do better than the ones I had on before. These are made in the UK. Obviously I just transferred the shim overs. These are the old ones.
Morning, bro.
But, yeah.
We overnight parts from Japan.
There you go. So let's go ahead and finish up this one side, move on to the other, and then we'll go on to the rear. All right, so we have both the front sides done. The right side looking really good. Move over to the left. Got that one all squared away. Yes, all the heat shield is bent back into shape. So now Johnny is going ahead and starting on the back. I anticipate the back to be the harder one of the two, but we're gonna find out once he takes it apart. And then once again, if you guys weren't listening to the first part of my video, the rear studs are actually longer than the front studs. So if you guys want, you can just buy 2 sets of the extended for the rears only, and then move the rears to the front. And so that way you could at least retain the factory bolts for the front, because if you do ARP extended studs, you do need an open-ended lug nut, because otherwise it just won't fit. But I'll show you that once we put the wheels back on. I'm gonna go ahead and let Johnny go ahead and take this off, and then I'll show you once we get this brake caliper and rotor off. Okay, so it does look like the hub needs to come off on the rear. There's just no way around it. So he's going on that side to go ahead and prepare. But I just want to point out real quick, I am also going to a 2-piece rotor in the rear as well. If you guys are unaware, factory is not a 2-piece rotor like it is in the front. So this one, oh my God, it weighs next to nothing compared to this one. This one is heavy. So I think just this alone, plus the other side of the rear, is gonna be a huge advantage for me. These aren't gyros like the front, because gyros didn't make or gyro, however you pronounce it, doesn't make a rear one just yet, at least at the time of this recording, even though they are the same as a GR Yaris. So I went with Paragon for the rear. And I think actually Paragon makes a front, which is, at the time they didn't have that in stock. Let me show you the box here real quick. So that is the company right there. So yeah. Okay, so as we're trying to put on the calipers on the rear rotors, they actually, the caliper is hitting the rotor because it's actually too big all around. So actually kind of surprising that the Yaris rear brakes are bigger than the GR Corolla rear brakes, but I am gonna have to contact Paragon. I bought these over a month ago. Hopefully they don't give me any issues since, well, I bought over a month ago. But anyways, just a little quick note. The Paragon GR Yaris does not fit. So, all right, so just like the fronts, all you gotta do is just kind of hammer them out. If you plan on reusing these sometimes, maybe just go ahead and put the lug on top and hit the lug, so that way you don't accidentally mess up the threads if you plan on reusing these. So that is if you are going from these rears to the front, definitely put something on just to protect the threads. But I don't plan on reusing them, so I'm just going to hammer them out. So to do a quick comparison, so here is the front. As you can see, this is the rear. So like I said, what most people are doing is they're just buying a set of ARPs for the rear, taking off the fronts and then moving the rear to the front, so that way they don't have to buy both sets, or 4 sets. But I'm just doing all 4, but there you guys go. Quick comparison. Johnny's over here just putting on the ARP ones. And yeah, hub was actually really easy to remove. You just basically had to take the bolts off from the rear, hammer it out from the axle, and it just pulls right out. So not too bad. More work than we were expecting, but overall not too bad. All right, so that battery is super simple. I don't even consider that a step. Oh my God, this thing is so much lighter. I think somebody did a comparison. This was around 30 something pounds. I think 38 is what the factory one was. This one came in at 14 pounds. So much lighter. It just bolts in. Here is that auto start button. So basically, the anti-gravity battery is a lithium battery that if it feels like it's draining too much, it basically shuts off all power and stores enough energy for you to start it. So like, let's say you let it sit for a year and it won't start. You just come back here, push this button, and it juices up the battery again enough for you to get 1 start on the car. And if you have the battery in an area where you can't reach it, they actually give you a little key fob, which is up there. I'll get there in a little bit. But you just press that key fob and it does the same thing, because this is a Bluetooth battery. So you just press that button and it does the same thing as pressing this button if you can't reach this button. And then you got enough juice to start the car. So yeah, super awesome battery. Really expensive. Like, this is probably like one of the last things you should probably do if you're looking to save weight, because I think MSRP on this specific model, I think, is around $900. And that is a lot for some people for a battery, but you know, there are some dealerships out there that'll charge you $1,000 for a factory battery anyways, and it won't last anywhere near as long. This is supposed to last twice as long as a normal battery, acid battery. So yeah, weight saving is really all I got it for. So all right, so next up, I believe it's actually our last thing we need to do, and that is to replace the exhaust. So obviously I went with the cheapest one they had on the market right now, which is MBRP single exit. Probably the lightest stainless steel out right now, as of the time of this recording. I know there's a few companies that are coming out with titanium ones. I know 6 Element is coming out with a single titanium, but it's over here. Not really a fan of like the one side exit. I really wanted something in the center to utilize the uniqueness of the car, so I went with the MBRP. Hopefully 6 Element comes out with a titanium that comes out the middle. That I would really like. But we're gonna go ahead, take this off. We're gonna, from the beginning of the video, get the wrap out of the water and then wrap this section of the exhaust, which is what wraps around here. And a lot of people were saying the exhaust temperature from here is actually what's, you know, not causing, but definitely not helping this thing being tripped off. This is the unit that is overheating or throwing the overheating unit code, not the actual diff itself. So hopefully this helps. Gonna wrap it, then put like an extra shielding around that wrap. So anyways, let's go ahead. get this one off, get this wrapped, and then get this on, and then I'll give you a sound clip. All right, so I guess first up what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to go ahead and pull this out and then just start wrapping it all around. I'm not going to really do an in-depth video on this. There are tons of videos out there that'll show you how to do this. Johnny knows how to do it, so I'm going to let him do his thing. I wish I had a tripod, that way I could have just set it up and let it do a time-lapse video, but it's completely unprepared for today. But anyways, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead, wrap it around, and I'll let Johnny do his thing. All right, so that took about 15 minutes or so to get it super tight. Johnny has, what he's doing now is he's taking the metal zip tie or tie bands that came with the titanium wrap itself, and they gave you a whole bunch, so he's just going around making sure nothing comes loose throughout. And then once he's done with that, I also got, I'm going super overboard, but man, last thing I want is for like that thing to trip off and I go into front wheel drive mode right around corkscrew or something. There's an extra thermal pad that we're going to go ahead and put on. We're going to wrap it around just like so, right above here, to make sure no heat is getting towards that sensor right there. So hopefully that kind of like buys me a few more laps, or just hopefully it just doesn't pop back up again, because like if you guys remember from my last couple of track videos, that rear wheel drive overheating diff thing came on, and it just basically it just puts you in front wheel drive mode, which I guess isn't too big of a deal as long as you can adapt to it. But just know that once that thing turns on, it's only going to be front wheel drive. The rears just basically become useless. And yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and finish this up and then mount the exhaust. All right, so we got that extra protective heat shield on. It looks super nice. Definitely going to help out. So I have it wrapped around here so it's blocking the sensor, and then just when I wrap it around here, I just want to make sure it's blocking the diff just in case. And then it just tightens up with these worm clamps, so it actually adds extra benefits to holding down the exhaust strap too. So it's a win-win in every situation. So what do you think, Johnny? You like it?
I love it. It's beautiful, man.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. All right, guys, and there you have it. The exhaust is on. They also provide, I mean, you guys have seen the MBRP exhaust. It's nothing new. They provide these little block-off plates if you decide to get the center exit one. If you get the two side exit ones, they give you one for the middle. Obviously, I just wanted the center. I want to utilize the uniqueness of the car, but yeah, I went to titanium tips, obviously, because the car's blue. The carbon fiber tips honestly don't look that good to me. But yeah, overall, really good fitment, especially for a $700 exhaust. But anyways, let me finish buttoning everything up, and then I'll get it down on the ground and give you guys a sound clip. All right, guys, and that will about do it for this video. As you can see, or not see, it is pouring rain out right now, so I'm just trying to get home. Unfortunately, I can't bed in my brakes properly with this rain, mainly because it's so much traffic. I can't get up to the speed I need while stepping on my brakes. So I'm definitely going to have to like drive a little bit wary until I can have enough room and space to, you know, bed in the brakes properly. But anyways, that is basically it. We ended up not changing the oil because I decided to order the Mishimoto oil cooler, so hopefully that comes in before my track day, so I didn't want to waste an oil change and then change it again with the new oil cooler. So I'm just going to do that all at once, and if that doesn't come in time, I'll just change my oil, you know, like the week right before, or the day right before I head out. But yeah, anyways, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and end the video here. I'm going to do the sound clip of the exhaust. It sounds so good. Honestly, for the price, you really can't argue with it. It sounds great. It fits almost perfect. It's not dead on, but for $700, what are you going to do? You know, it looks great, sounds great. Overall, very happy with the exhaust. I don't know if you guys can hear it right now. It's coming out very, very throaty. In the cabin. Comes out even better on the outside when it hits the rev limiter. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for this video. The next video should be me loading up the car and heading out to California. So until next time, guys, later.